Happy Friday, everybody. We are now live for our weekly episode of Facts and Snacks. And it's actually been a while since I've seen you guys. I mean, I've been doing some videos, but as far as having a guest speaker on, so I'm really excited. I think it's been since February. So we're really glad to have our special guest on Andrea Moore with us. Sorry, here today. But before we get into the good stuff with her, I just kind of want to give you guys some updates on what's been going on. Life has been crazy over here at Jasmine and Co. Just so you guys know, we have just been expanding and growing and adding services to our company, our business. And the newest service we're about to roll out next month is going to be for all of you startup businesses out there. I get so many calls for people that are like, I don't know what systems to implement, or I have all these systems and I don't even think I'm using the need. And so we're going to be rolling. Your calling has been answered, right? We're going to be rolling it out for you guys. So we're going to have a program and services where we will set up all of your back-end systems for you, and we will also manage them for you as well if you want that. So it's been a huge need for that, and we have been able to help several business owners, with their systems and just making their life a whole lot easier so they're not stressed out about it. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. And I will be speaking in Philly this month. So if you're out there in Philadelphia, come out to the Brunch with Bosses conference. I will be there, and I will be talking about how to leverage technology to grow your business. Make sure you guys check it out. If you need tickets or if you have any questions with that, just let me know. So let's go ahead and hop in with Andrea. I don't want to waste any time. We're going to be talking about some stuff here, and I'm very excited because I for sure am going to be taking notes. So Andrea is most definitely, she's a coach. She is an award-winning published author, and I'm going to let her tell us a little bit more about her and what she does.
Okay, so congratulations on your new service, Jasmine. I want to tell you that before we start. I'm excited. I'm excited for you and your growth. That is so good. So let's talk about me. So I am Andrea Moore. I am the founder and visionary from Grief to Grind. I help women and siblings who have suffered a loss delegate their grief through journaling, becoming a published author, and grief coaching. Now, that is not my only business. I have another one, and it's my personal brand that's near and dear to me. I am Andrea A. Moore. And on Facebook, it says Mindset and Transition Coach. But I have shifted, as we all know as business owners, right? I have shifted into business and life transformational mentor, as well as motivational speaker, because speaking is bae to me. That's bae. That's just what I like to do. So, and in that, I help authors, coaches, and other transformational geniuses live the epic life they deserve through mindset change and business processes. That is what I do over at Andrea Moore. So, how did I get here? And that was a lot, right? Most people are like, how do you do that? What are you doing over there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I am a wife. I'm a mother of 3 active kids. So if anyone sees me on Facebook, on the weekends, you're going to hear about cheer, basketball. You're going to hear about football. You're going to hear about all that because my kids are active. I have a supportive husband. That is so important to have a supportive partner while you're a business owner. Because, yes, that's important. That's a whole nother subject. Yes. And I am a daughter. I'm a cousin. I'm all of that. And one thing I had to realize is my purpose and my why. So how did I get here? So about my son is 17. So when my son was 2 years old, I actually inherited a childcare. My mother basically said, "You're going to run this thing. I'm retiring." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm right on it, right?" So I was basically told I was going to be an entrepreneur. However, as a mom, you know what your kids are capable of, what they're not capable of. So my mother seen something in me I didn't even see on myself. So in Racine, Wisconsin, that's where I'm born and raised. That's where I started Kids Corner. It originally was for, people going to work, going to school, that kids need some daycare. But I transitioned into making it inclusive. In my town, there's a lot of, kids with disabilities, and sometimes they don't want to take them. That's just what it is. So what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
I took the kids with autism. I took the behavioral kids. I took the kids with ADHD. That's just what I did. And I loved it because they are kids and they're so pure. And even though they may be having a bad day or whatever the case may be, you're like, you are just so beautiful, exactly how God made you. So I was doing well. And then a whole lot of stuff happened. So I have an older sister. Her name is Angie. However, in 2010, Angie passed away. She had breast cancer. And that's where me and grief had met head on. That's when I'm like, what is happening and what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner. I'm in the community. I was very big in my community. And here my sister is clinging on to life. So that's when it got real. That's when I had to take some time off from the business because she lived in Illinois. So, go up there and see her and things like that. Well, the week of June 7th, she went into the hospital. We got the most horriblest news ever. There's nothing else we can do. That still gives me chills because that's the worst thing that you want to hear. And to see my parents grieve, to see them hurt, watching her soulmate. She also has a son. Watching my cousin, my sister is she was the stronghold of the family. So she's making sure she's checking on this cousin, making sure everybody is good. Well, on June 13th, as I prayed, I held her hand, and then that was it. And that moment has led me here into my why. So I used to say I love to help people, and I do. But when I realized that I had to go on this crazy, undescribable grief journey alone, and I'll get to that part, alone, while I'm taking care of everybody else, while I'm making sure, my husband good, while I'm doing all of that, I knew years later why. And here I am, the intuitive grief coach From Grief to Grind. And we bring on more than just grief awareness. There's so many different types of losses. Yes, a loss of a loved one is the main thing. But after my sister passed, I lost my business. I lost my home. I lost myself. My parents lost half of them, so I lost them. I lost, in my marriage, it was tough because right after my sister passed, my mother-in-law passed away. So it's back to back to back. So people don't, to me, people are not speaking on the losses after someone passes. Those types of things. So From Grief to Grind was originally in my head supposed to be just a book. But when I tell you it has taken a mind of its own, and I am all here for the uncomfortableness, because this subject is uncomfortable. Let's just be real. Nobody wants to talk about the loss of a loved one. Nobody wants to do that. So here I am in the good old great state of Texas. Yes. I'm close to Austin and Killeen.
That's awesome.
Yes. So
I just moved from Dallas. I was in Dallas, Houston, and I just moved to Arkansas. So I'm familiar with Texas. I was raised up there.
Okay, good. So I love the great state of Texas, and I moved here 6 years ago. And because I left where I was comfortable, this is how I began to grieve 6 years ago. At this time, my sister had been gone for 3 years. She had been already gone. So I started my grief process. I started writing. I am a journal fanatic. Look, I got journals hanging on over here. I started really writing. I used to write when I was younger, and then I stopped, and I started back, and I realized writing is a release for so many. It doesn't mean you have to publish a book. Man, if you just get a piece of paper, a pencil or a pen, and you just write. It don't even have to make sense. And it's funny because I look at my other journals and I'm like, I don't have a clue what I was trying to say. You know, but for me it was a release. It was a you know. However, I wrote and I felt alone. I was like, hey, I'm over here. You know, what about me? So here I am. I am very uncomfortable. And there's a reason why I'm saying that, because we hear it all the time. Do it uncomfortable. If you're scared, do it. I do everything scared. My saying for 2019 is do it scared, do it now. If you're waiting on the right moment, we're going to be waiting. You know, so yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So
that is so much I could say about that. Girl, you hit so many points. I don't even know where to begin. First, I am so sorry to hear about the loss of your sister. I can only imagine what you were feeling at the time. And like you were saying, how you had to do it alone. I get that. I went, through that with my grandfather, and we were so close. So that, I think it's 10 years this year, and it's still hard. And that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Yeah. So I get that. I love it because you've been so strong, and just how you have pushed through that to create the platform that you have now is so inspiring for some others that may not have the courage or the strength to do that. You're a mom. I tell people all the time, like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I have 2 little ones, 1 and a 2-year-old. So I'm very, very, very busy 24/7, the business too, trying to make sure my husband is good amongst other family and other things. I get that. So I'm with you there. That takes a lot within itself. So talk to us a little bit more how you got through that, kind of what that looks like.
Okay. So it was not pretty. I'll be the first to tell you that. Because I was mad at God. I was trying to figure out why her. Now, prior to my sister, I lost my grandparents and things like that. I mean, they were older, kind of like, okay, but why my sister? Why the social worker? Why the kid that had the perfect GPA? Why the good person? Why the person that helped everyone out? Why? And then yet I find myself saying, well, person A over here is doing everything under the sun that they're not supposed to do, and they're still here. So I was angry at God. I really didn't want to hear about nobody and their sisters. I was just like, I don't want to hear that because my sister isn't here. So anger, my very first feeling I had when I left Wisconsin, because I really left Wisconsin to grieve, because I just couldn't there, because I'm checking on mom, I'm doing a lot of moving. So anger, I was very upset. But I knew in the back of my mind, if I did not do something for myself, I was not going to be a good person. So that's where the writing came in. Now, I was trying to find the notebook that I wrote in. It's a lot of doodling. I mean, I'm not even writing in the lines. It's a lot. Yeah. But for me, just moving my hand and writing, it was good for me. It was good for me at the time. So that was the first part. The second part was denial. I went back home after we left, and here's the thing. My mother has my sister's things in her room, because my mom has this big house. Everybody has their room, right? My mother didn't change anything, so I could still smell her. Somebody has a scent. I would look through her purse, and I would just start talking. Now, out loud, to myself, to her, however you want to put it. And I would just sob and just sob. And I remember saying to myself, this cannot be it. Like, I cannot be this depressed I cannot be this anxious. I got to figure this out. But see, the problem was I wanted to figure it out. When all along the creator was like, I got you. Just listen. You'll understand soon. So the anger, the denial, again, writing. I went to support groups. I talked to a therapist. And I realized two things with doing that. I am a unique person in the way of giving me steps. Like week 1, I'm supposed to do this. Week 2, I don't operate that way. So it didn't work. Therapy and support group, the ones I went to, was not good for me. Now, it may have worked for somebody else, but for me, it did not. I was like, today I'm feeling angry. I've been feeling angry for 6 months. So that is how it all started. That's what it looked like for me. And believe it or not, I was shy. And every time I tell someone that, they're like, really? Yeah. Because,
oh my God.
because I hid my feelings inside.
Me too.
I never thought anybody wanted to hear what I was saying or hear how I felt. Because to me, then it was nobody's calling me, nobody's checking on me. But what I realized was they couldn't check on me because they were hurting just like I was. Mm-hmm. So I had to distinguish that part. So that's what it looked like for me.
Wow, you said some really great stuff in there. We've had a couple of viewers come on. Guys, for those of you that are just coming on, we are talking about grieving to grinding and how to manifest that and how to push through that and how to push through the storm. Andrea has told us her personal story, which is so inspiring. So if you're just hopping on, please make sure that you watch the replay. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or just anything, please drop those in the comments, especially while we're live so that we can answer them, so that Andrea can answer them, because she's really spilling some stuff here. That is just so amazing. So talk to us a little bit more about From Grief to Grind and, kind of how you have it set up, the different programs you have. Mm-hmm. Who the ideal person is that needs to come into this program and how they can find it.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about my ideal person. She is mid-20s. She has lost so much. I say about 7 to 10 things she has lost, whether it's herself over and over again, whether it's a relationship, a divorce, things like that. She is a career-oriented woman. She also is an entrepreneur. She wants to write, but she says she doesn't know how. And I'm going to address that in a second. She is an overthinker. She has multiple successes, from her career to successful children to excelling, in her personal life. But deep down in here, she feels alone. But she's the life of the party, though. You're going to laugh with her. You're going to crack jokes with her. She going to, what are we doing? Turn it up. Like, she is that person. But in a room full of people, she still feels alone. She likes to write, but nobody knows she likes to write. She's sort of hung up on tradition and non-traditional things. She had her first couple of kids and not being married, and that bothers her because she's been told, man, you got to get married. You got to do you got to do the traditional thing. She believes in God. Right now she's juggling with church because for her, she hasn't had a good experience. She has elaborated on herself on paper at home where nobody knows she writes. However, really manifesting it and understanding herself is where her battle is. She's battling her truth because it's not traditional. And that is my girl. That's my ideal person. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know when they say do it in detail, right? You're like, whoa. Like you can see her. Like,
Yes. I love that. And I love how how thorough and detailed you were, or, just were. And, for those of you that are watching this, think about your ideal client, and it should be that detailed. You should be very specific on who you're looking for your, to buy your products and to use your services. And especially if you have a program that, or if you have a course or something like that. So I want you guys to take note of that. But yeah, keep going, keep telling us.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. So there is a course that is actually, I'm accepting applications for beta testers. The course is called Living with Purpose While Grieving. Okay. So that is the entrepreneur, the person I described, but she's an entrepreneur who lost somebody during entrepreneurship. How do you keep your business going? How do you keep your marriage or relationship going? How do you keep the kids going? How do you get out of bed knowing you just went to a funeral 24 hours? How do you go back to work? And they're only going to give you 3 days to a week unless you work for a family-friendly company and your employees or people you work with can pour into your bucket. So, for example, I know some people that, I can say, hey, I'm going to give Jasmine 8 of my hours. And they're pouring into your bucket.
Right.
Just to make sure you're, not really good, but you have some time off. So what does that look like? How can you push through and you just lost somebody? Like, how do you do that? How do you push through and your house goes into foreclosure and you have to tell your kids, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know where we're going to stay. How do you keep building a business that way? Because guess what? If you're strictly online, this is moving. If you're brick and mortar, it's moving. If you're both, it's like, it doesn't stop per se. So
exactly.
Living in your purpose while grieving. That is my course coming up. I've had some applicants and I'm going, oh yeah, because it's time to have this conversation. And I'm going to say one thing. If you need to take time off, take it. Take it.
Love that.
Take it. And yes, I know you got to eat. Yes, the bills need to be paid. But this is, I do transformational life and business mentoring, but Jasmine will tell you, this is why systems are important. I'm just saying for things like this is why having a digital product is important. This is why connecting with the right people are important, because when you need that 2 weeks, the ball is still rolling. Your strike, square is clicking, so that is a course. I am accepting applications. So you can find me on the From Grief to Grind page, and also on AndreaMoore.co. You can send me a message. I'll send you the application. So one of the programs that I have is building anthologies. I'm a compiler. I believe in the power of collaboration and not competition. Let me repeat that. There's power in collaboration and not competition. So I believe that when women of like mind, women of like things that they kind of went through similar, come together, it explodes. So I'm going to show you something. Here is From Grief to Grind, the book, which is 8 women with 8 different griefs and telling their story. From relationship to divorce, to a mother losing her child, to self-esteem, to somebody, all types of different griefs going on. And when the women came together, when I say it was powerful, and I'm just following what I'm supposed to do here on earth. I'm just the vessel.
Yeah.
That's it. But when they got together and they started to know each other, they started to say, man, I read your story. Man, I remember being like that. There's a story Nicole Redman wrote in the book. It was talking about codependency. How many women have been codependent on a situation, a person, or a job? Nobody says a word about that. And you can lose yourself in those moments. So
Yeah.
compiling anthologies. I have a second one coming out. Shout out to the 10 authors of Where Did I Go? And that talks
Yeah.
about the loss of self. Yes, I'm so excited. The loss of self while in a relationship. The loss of self while in a relationship.
Love
The
that.
loss of
That's a
self
good topic right there.
while in a
Yeah.
relationship. I'm just
Love
gonna
that.
do that because you know what? Women, we lose ourselves in motherhood, being the
Mhm.
caretaker, being the, relationship wise.
Yes. Oh boy.
All I'm
This
gonna
is
tell you, it
good.
comes out. It come out September 2019. That's all I'm gonna say, and you'll be able to
Love
get it
that.
off of AndreaMoore.co.
I
So
want to throw in a comment after that one. So,
yes,
and I've told this story a few times. Me, so I have a little one. I have a 15-month-old, and I have an almost
okay,
3-year-old.
okay,
So when I had kids, of course, every mom's like, the kids come first. It's all about the kids, which is true. But here's what I have found out over the past couple of years for me personally. Like you said, Andrea, I was losing myself in the process and I completely let myself go. My
mm-hmm.
self-care wasn't there. And even my just self-fulfillment was not there. And what I realized was, how can I be my best for everyone? How can I be the best mom for my kids? How can I be the best wife for my husband and exude that to them when I'm not even self-fulfilled? Like I'm empty, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to give out, but I don't have anything
Mm-hmm.
pouring in. And it took me a couple of years to figure that out. And in January of this year, I can
Mm-hmm.
honestly say one of the biggest things that I just really wanted to get back to was going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way for me to have me time away from
Mm-hmm.
everybody. I think during that time, and that's just one of like 3 or 4 things that I'm like, I have to do it to keep myself
Mm-hmm.
like in line.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, here I am 5 months later, and I'm still going strong. And I am the
Good.
best version of me I have seen, girl, in the past like couple of years. So I really like how you said that. And I wanted to throw my little personal story in there as well
Yeah.
because it's so important. And some
Mm-hmm.
women don't even realize it. They're just, have you seen those pictures where it's like a mom and they have like 20 hands off their body? Because that's our
Yeah,
daily life. That's what we
that
do.
is.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, and sometimes you have to slow that. I just really like how you said that. And I just wanted to throw in my little 2 cents because it worked. Like you have to do it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to be there. You have to be present. You want to live to your kids or however old, and you want to see your grandchildren. You have to take care of yourself to do
Mm-hmm.
that. Just to have, just yeah, I
Yeah,
love that. That's
yeah,
all I'm gonna say. But
yes.
girl, I love how you touched on that.
Well, congratulations. I want to tell
Thank
you that
you.
because I don't think we give ourselves that pat on the back, like, girl, you did that, girl, you
No.
ran them 2 miles, you know,
Yeah.
while you're at the gym. Congratulations, because that is that, and y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, this first time I've ever met Jasmine, so I'm gonna say something, and she's probably gonna be like, "What in the world?" That is why your business is growing. That's why it's taken off the way it is because you found out for yourself. I need some
Yeah.
time, and that's that manifestation that we think about, but we're not sure of the steps to get there. And a lot of it is
Exactly.
if we ain't self-aware, honey, everything fall in the house, the kid, like everything is just like going just like this slowly. So
Mhm.
congratulations. I want to tell you that.
Thank
That's
you. I
that's
feel amazing. And I
yeah,
want
yeah.
other women to feel as amazing as I do. They have it in them. We just got to pull it out. So that's why you go to Andrea so she can help you do that. Pull
Absolutely,
it out.
absolutely. Yes, yes. So and then my coaching program, I just right now, how do I explain? Like you build a program and then you have it. For me, grief,
Mhm.
it's hard to build that because
Yeah.
everyone is at a different space. So what I do
Mhm.
is I do the personal like one-on-one, we would call it one-on-one session. And
Mhm.
then I set something up for you and then we go from there. Everything is
Okay.
personalized for me because like it's not like marketing or bit, you got to be realistic because I did try it the other way and that was not what God wanted me to do. So
Mhm.
I get on a call, we talk about where they're at for a minute, and then for 5 minutes we talk about where they're going. And see that right there is key.
I like that.
The
Yeah.
transition. And it's hard when you're at a barrier. So yes,
Yeah.
you can find all that information on AndreaMoore.co. You can set up Mimosa Talk with Andrea. Everything is on my website. From Grief to Grind is a part of it. So anything they want to know about becoming a part of the movement, because this is a movement. This is not just,
Yeah.
it's a business, but it's more of a movement than anything, because the 20 authors that I have as of right now, they are, man, when I say they have grown, I'm like, whoa. What happened? Because they had to deal with those things. They had to deal with loss of self and
Right.
motherhood. They had to deal with that divorce, how they lost themselves in a divorce because of what we are told it's supposed to look like. And so what I'm finding is,
Right.
especially with women, we looking at what it's supposed to look, the traditional type thing that, yeah, that's tough. My dad's a deacon.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times he'd be like, girl, like, okay, if that's what you need to do, my dad's a deacon.
Yeah.
My bonus mom, she, into the church. So that's really, I've grown up the extreme traditional way. Private school kid over here, K through 8, like the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so that's how you can find me. That's where I am, and I'm all over social media, from Grief to Grind or under Andrea Moore. You Google me, it pops right up.
I
And
love
I,
that.
yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So if you will, well, I'll have you after we get off the chat, then you can go and drop your information, all of your
Okay,
pages, because I think, like
okay.
you said, you have them for each brand, which is good. So I want to ask you, what is one interesting fact about you?
I love Starbucks and coloring.
Think loud and
That's
hard. Wait, you
yes.
said?
I love Starbucks and coloring. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
I was that kid that did not like arts and crafts. I hate coloring. I never stayed in the line. That was me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
hated it. So that's cool. That's really cool. I'm trying to teach my kids how to color now, and I'm like, yes, but I hope you guys are better colors than I was, because I hated that.
Exactly. I understand.
Oh my gosh, too cool. Okay, well, it has been so awesome chatting with you today. So, what last tips and tricks, sorry, do you have for our audience on just, grieving, pushing through, knowing that they can do it? What are some of those last tips and tricks you have for them?
Okay, so I have three ways to push through the storm. But before I say that, I want to read a quote that I got from Instagram. This quote right here is all over my phone because I have to remind myself, because I'm human too, that this is something I need to do. So it reads, when it rains, most of the birds seek shelter. The eagle is the only bird that will fly above the clouds to avoid the rain. Be like the eagle and push through.
Ah, girl, I love that. I love that.
Yes. It's hard for us to be like the eagle because a lot of times when the storm hits, which the storm is a disturbance in your atmosphere, when it hits, we hide. Doesn't mean we're not walking
Yep.
physically, but mentally, we zone out. We're like, oh no, And the push
Yeah.
through, which is to drive and engage, you feel it, but you're still like at the break. We shaking, I call it moving and shaking past it. So your disturbance in the atmosphere is the bird that's hiding, is what's happening. We're the bird that's hiding. Be the eagle.
Yeah.
Be the eagle. So 3 things I want to say. Be in the moment of your storm. So let me explain that really quick. When I say be in the moment of the storm, when I lost my sister, it took me about 3 years to grieve, right? 2.5, 3 years. That's because I was not in the moment. I was looking beyond and taking care of everybody else, what led me to not one but two panic attacks. I lost weight. And in the midst of all the other losses I spoke about earlier. Feel how you feel. Dude, the process is what it is. Feel how you feel. So if you feel like shouting, screaming, crying, throwing something, do it. Do it. The stillness. So you're in the moment, just be still. When you lose a home, because I lost my home, when you lose your home, you are not in the moment. You're not still. You're moving and shaking, right?
Yep.
But then you realize whether it's a loss of self or whatever type of loss, your inner work. That's why you got to be still, because it's about your inner work, not the appearance, how it looks on the outside or how it looks to everybody else. It's about you. And then claim your victory. Now you're in the moment, you feeling how you feel, you're being still, but you claim your victory. Claim it. And I like that I speak affirmations. I believe in affirming things over yourself. I speak over myself. I speak greatness over my life. I speak greatness over my business. I speak greatness over my kids. I speak greatness over my marriage. And I speak greatness over everybody that's watching and on the replay. Why? Because when you speak it, you hear it and you receive it, and then you can go walk it.
Absolutely. Gosh, you hit that on the head. I love that. Yes, it's so true. That is so true. I love that. Oh my God. Amazing. And I'm so thankful that you were able to come on here and be our guest today. I learned quite a bit, and I'll be definitely sure to share that information with anybody that I know that is going through something, and that is your ideal client. I will definitely pass them over your way. Again, watching live or even watching the replay. If you have any questions for Andrea, please drop them below. She will be putting her social media, website, all of that good information. She will drop that in the comment section, and so you will be able to find her there if you need to reach out. So I don't really have a lot of closing remarks, guys. Just remember that we're having that program coming out next month. For those of you that missed it, we're going to be launching a program for basically startup businesses, or maybe, if you're early on in the early stages, of your business, and you need help with those systems. You need help setting them up, integrating them. You just need recommendations on which systems you should even be using based on what industry and niche you're in. So we'll be rolling out that, because there's definitely a need for it, and we have been able to help several business systems and just take that headache off their hands. So that's all we have for today. Happy May. I hope that you guys are still in grind mode. I know we're almost halfway through 2019, which is that's just so surreal to me. Like I have so much to do in just a couple months this year to reach my goals. So make sure you guys continue to do that. If you need me, you know where to find me. And we're going to go ahead and sign off. Have a fabulous weekend, but also make it productive. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.